All right. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. How we doing today? What's good, people? Yeah, tough day for me yesterday. Had to take my loss, as you guys know, I'm sure. Meta still looks good. That's the one that still looks good for me. But Microsoft, AMD, setups didn't work. Setups did not work. Welcome back, everyone. We'll talk about those trades today for sure. We'll talk about some levels as always, but let's wait for some people to jump in. Make sure everything's all set up here. Morning, guys. Renita, thanks for joining the live stream. Thanks for joining the group. Appreciate that. Welcome. Good morning, guys. What's up, Chef? Tashumbi? Chris? Yeah, it obviously in hindsight it's easier said than done, but nice NASDAQ downside yesterday. That 15,220 level we talked about was just a really nice rejection early morning. So we'll talk a little bit about how that sort of set up that downside on the NQ. Talk a little bit about the reality of coming into the day with swing trades, which is sort of, not new to me, but something I've been doing a little bit more recently. But, have to understand some of the downsides of it for sure. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The downsides of opening, as much as I want to stay open to either direction, sometimes coming into a day with swing trades, right, makes you look for, you have to manage those swing trades in the morning. And it sort of takes your focus off of, intraday trades. So that was sort of what happened to me yesterday. I was sort of managing and taking some losses on some swings, which caused me to miss out on some really juicy downside setups. So, I don't love that. That's one of the downfalls of, holding some positions overnight, is because you're trying to manage them, and it takes your focus off of some intraday scalps, which is really where I shine. So that was really, that was my day yesterday in a nutshell. Managed my swings, took some smaller, not small, but $600 loss. And then I fought back. I was able to fight back that loss to only $300. So pretty much an irrelevant losing day yesterday after some fight back. But the fight back came from scalps, right? Scalps that I know that I can do. So do I even mess around with some of these swings? Maybe, maybe not. Do I take them out of my trading? I like the setups that I took, so I'm not gonna get too down about those trades, because I would have taken those probably 9 out of 10 times. But that is a downfall that something to know as a trader. If you come into the day with the swing trade, your focus is going to be to manage that swing trade, and it's going to be hard to ignore it and then try to trade intraday setups at the same time. It's a lot going on, right? It's a lot for us to manage at the same time. So that's sort of what happened to me yesterday. There was a beautiful Tesla bear flag yesterday. If I didn't have AMD, the AMD 116 short, like you said there, Matthew, was beautiful, right? There were some really nice downside plays that I just missed because I was managing positions that I had open. So that was my day yesterday in a nutshell. Day to forget, a day to forget. But what's most important, a day that I can make back, right? That's the key in trading. Risk management. When you're wrong, you can't be wrong and blow up your account, right? If you're wrong, you got to take your loss, move on. Can always make back those losses if you have the proper position sizing, if you take your loss at your stops, right? If I didn't stop out at AMD at 116, I would have been down like $3,000. So happy I did that. That was really the highlight of the day, is just getting out of the plays that did not work. So that was my day yesterday. It's 8:05. We can get started now. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the live stream. We'll break down some of the trades. We'll break down some futures levels to watch today. You are sitting at a pretty important futures level today on both the ES and NASDAQ. You are sitting at the lows of FOMC. So this should be interesting, right? You are sitting at that wick low that we saw on Wednesday of last week. So FOMC last week, we got a big downside move. The first original move was a big downside, and we wicked right at the levels that we're sitting at today on the futures. So this could be an interesting day. If we break those lows, it could be sort of a meltdown. If we hold these levels, we could see some type of a relief bounce. We'll have to definitely monitor these levels today. So let's get started. June 22nd. Welcome back, guys. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tesla 250, big level today. NVIDIA channel. That AMD gap fill, we'll go ahead and talk about that and talk about my trade and how I took a loss there. Meta outperformance. That Meta swing still looks pretty good. I need a little bit more time on this one, so watching that today. Netflix, it broke that stair-stepping formation we talked about, so that's interesting. Google 122. This is a huge level on Google that needs to be watched today. I'm going to talk about Microsoft as well, and then Apple under 184 is important as well. So some pretty interesting levels. Amazon is another one that's at a key level, 124. So some pretty key levels today on the futures and on some individual stocks. Very, very interesting watches. Should be a nice day, depending on... I hope we get some price action today. If we get some price action today, you're at some major levels on some really major stocks, which is usually the best time to trade, right? When we're sitting at some really key levels. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. Economic calendar. You do have Jerome Powell testimony today again I think it's to the House today, if I'm not mistaken. I know today's to the Senate. Okay, so today I'll go ahead and pull this up. You guys can see right here. Is now the time to invest in real estate. Who is this? And what does she know? Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. All right. Thursday, jobless claims this morning at 8:30. Let's watch out for that. And then home sales, and then Fed Chair Jerome Powell testifying to the Senate. So 8:30 this morning, we do have jobless claims. We'll see if there's any movement there. And then home sales at 10, and Jerome Powell testifying at 10 as well. So that's our economic data. 8:30 and 10 o'clock are your big two times to watch today. We'll see what happens at 8:30. All right. Let's go ahead and jump right into the futures. So this morning, all right, this is what we're looking at. We are looking at a level from, all right, you are looking at this Tuesday low, right, from back in last week, and this FOMC low from Wednesday of last week. And so you are sitting, right at that zone, right? That is exactly where you're sitting this morning. So this is, this could be either side, in my opinion. You got to stay open to either side here. Do we hold, right? Do we hold this double bottom? Do we turn it into support again? Do we get some type of a relief bounce? Or, right, do we break this FOMC low? Do we break this Tuesday low? And do we get this juicy downside into 14,850, right? That's really the main question today. That's really that's it, right? That's what we're looking for. What happens at this double bottom low from Tuesday and Wednesday of last week, all right? If you go to the 5-minute chart and you look at last week, you guys can see, if I zoom into FOMC, right, this is the day FOMC came out. You can see we got a very aggressive downside move. We came right into that 15,000, 14,960 area, and we had an aggressive rip back to the upside. So that is exactly the zone that we are messing with this morning. So I think you have to stay open to both sides today, right? I could see both reactions. I would not be surprised to see either side today. I would not be surprised to see a relief bounce, right, after some selling pretty much the first 2 days of this week. And I would not be surprised to see this continuation of weakness break under these lows and really quickly fill this aggressive upside, right? This is look how low this volume is. Look at the volume here on Monday of last week. This is a substantially low volume here. If you just sort of compare this volume here on the bottom of your screen with some of these other days, look how small this volume is here from Monday of last week. And you pretty much went straight up on that Monday. So if you fall into this low volume upside here, this could be a very equal reaction to the downside, right? My screen is not out of focus. This is the second day you said this. I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest, my friend. There is nothing out of focus here. So 14,960, at least I don't see it. If you guys see it, I'm sorry. On my side, it looks perfectly fine. So 14,960, that's our level in the sand. That's our fourth in inches, as Mr. TNT likes to say. That's really it, right? That's our fourth in inches right there. If we break that 14,960, turnover on downs right back down to 14,850. That's big, right? That's the big level. But here's your big but. Michael, thank you, man. $20 donation. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for always supporting the stream. Here's your big but, right? If you short here before this level breaks, right, you are potentially shorting into this double bottom low. So it's a day that we have to be definitely open to both directions. It's a day that we have to definitely focus on, how the market reacts in this area. How does the market, react in this zone? That's the biggest thing we can look for. So right now, if I go to the 15-minute and I sort of zoom into shorter term for now, you can see we are double bottoming at this zone, but you can see this little bit of difficulty to get back above 15,000, to get back above some of these highs, right? You have some important levels to still watch here if we do get a bounce, right? If we get a bounce, it's not like it's going to, I wouldn't marry this, back to new highs or anything like that, right? There's still a lot of weakness here. Let me go ahead and zoom out and get more of this chart. So if you do get some kind of a relief bounce, right? If you do get over 15,000, I would say you first need to watch these rejections from yesterday. This is that 15.8 level we talked about, right? That 15,080 level that we've talked about, right? So right there, 15,080, right? So that's your first little level to monitor, 15,080. And if you get above that, then you probably could, I'm not saying you will, but if you do get that relief bounce, I would say it could move into this like 15,130, 15,150 area, right up into here. And that would be probably the extent of what I'd be looking for, because you could easily reject here, just like you did yesterday, right? Look how clean yesterday's rejection was. After the afternoon push off this demand, look how clean this afternoon rejection was at previous day lows. That was really, really nice. So you have previous day lows, right? And you have a perfect retest rejection of that level yesterday afternoon, causing more selling, right? So if you do get some type of a, maybe you call it a dead cat bounce off this demand today, I would watch 15,080. I would watch 15,130 for potential, right, rejections at those levels, right? So that's the big watch today. 15,000, 14,960, big levels to watch today. Pay attention to these. Be careful shorting before this break, right? This could be just sort of a, hold and maybe small bounce type of day off this level after some selling. If you do get under this 14,960, if you start to see this occur, then I think you have some very, very juicy downside here if you start to see that level break today. That is, all right, once again, if we go to the hourly chart, that is, right, the big area, the big level, and the area that starts to become a very low volume upside move from Monday of last week, right? Look at this volume, very low, and could very quickly come down through this zone if we break that 14,960. All right, so that's how I would play the NASDAQ today. Be careful of shorting before the break. Understand that you are sitting in some double bottom lows here from FOMC and Tuesday of last week. Could there be some type of a little relief bounce? Absolutely. Keep that in mind. And if we break that low, that I think gives you the confirmation for downside. All right. I haven't updated my QQQ chart, but I guess let's just do it together here. It looks like it's this 360, right? That's really it. That's another way you can have that confirmation for downside today. Just watch 360 on the Qs. If you break 360 on the Qs, I think that's your confirmation for downside. Look at that retest rejection right there. That was pretty yesterday. Go ahead and pop that on there. So 360, right? You can clearly see it here on the Qs. 360, 360. You're sort of trying to hold that this morning. Is there a relief bounce off 360 on the Qs, or do you break under that 360? A break of that 360 is a pretty clean, right, confirmation. Oh, is that a legit candle? Or is that just a... Yeah, it's not a real candle. I love when the market does that shit. I don't know why TOS does that. It's not a real candle. All right. Anyways. So 360, right? That's your level. If you break that, right, we talked about that low volume. We can move right back into this triple top. This triple top at 357 might be, right? We've talked about this multiple times on the stream. That still, in my eyes, could be the level that needs to retest, right? That could still be the level that needs to retest, right? We could still need, the market likes to retest these levels. It likes to come back after big breakouts. This could be your bullish retest of a triple top for more upside, right? This is still, if you zoom out on this chart, right, this is still a bullish formation at 360, right? 357. That is still a bullish formation at 357. Even this pullback, right, it's just giving back the breakout from Monday of last week. It's just giving back this breakout, potentially creating a higher low here. If you create a higher low at 357, you're just creating a higher low at a previous triple top. There's nothing that bearish about this pullback still. So just keep that in mind. This is a nice tradable pullback. I'm sure, there has been some nice downside opportunities. But, right, in the when we really zoom out, right, when we really zoom out here on the 4-hour chart, just keep in mind, right, this is still, one, a pretty strong uptrending market, and two, this could just be your very clean break and retest on the 4-hour at 357 for another hold and another upside move. It's very possible. So just keep that in mind. Make sure to keep that larger term view in mind. But in the short term, I'm not going to, I don't doubt there could be some nice downside plays if you break that 360 today. So 360, big level there. Watch that on the cues. Very important. You break that, 357. If you hold 360, maybe you get your relief bounce into that 364. That's where we rejected yesterday here at the previous day lows. All right. So that's the QQQ. ES. Let's go to the 4-hour on the ES. Actually, you know what? Let's go 1 hour on the ES. Yeah, 1 hour. So I'm sorry this chart looks like guitar strings, but it is important, these levels that I have on my screen, right? These are important levels to have on your screen. First one is the FOMC lows and Tuesday's lows, and that is 43.80, right? That's right here. This is your 14,960 level on the NASDAQ, 43.80. That is your FOMC low and your Tuesday low from last week. You have not touched that yet, right? So you are still sort of outperforming here in regards to time, right, where the market was at certain dates on the ES, right? Because the NASDAQ is back here, right? And the ES is still a little bit elevated above that Tuesday, Wednesday low on FOMC and the Tuesday prior. So 43.80, right? That's still a very important level below on the ES. That is this previous double bottom on the ES here, where we're holding on the NASDAQ as of now. If we break that 43.80, this is your same low volume area that I'm talking about on the NASDAQ. It's between 43.80 and 43.65, just about. So about 15 points of low volume upside, right? Right there, right? That is the same as your NASDAQ right here, right? Your NASDAQ 14,960 to 14,850, this low volume area, that is the same as right here on the ES, right? Right there, okay? So that's the same sort of look there that we're spotting here on the ES. For upside today, you very clearly need to be back over 44.04. It's very clear. It's not very difficult to read, right? So, thanks, man. WTF fails. You must have a... I think I saw your... Did I see your Instagram? I think you sent me a DM on Instagram. I'll get back to you, WTF. You must have a channel. You have a little check mark next to your name. So, yeah, ES. You can't go long ES, in my opinion, unless you're back over yesterday's lows here, right? That's very clear. So if you see this is yesterday's lows, right? I don't think you want to be long the ES until you can get clearly back above that low, right? Because then you're just playing longs into previous day lows. I don't love that idea, right? I don't love longing into 44.04. That's a little bit difficult for me. So if we get above 44.04, right, that could be your area where we start to see the relief bounce, right? That could be something to watch. So 44.04 and then 43.80, right? Those are sort of the levels I'm watching today. 43.80, right? You can see right here, previous lows. And then the 44.04 yesterday lows would be what needs to break back above for any potential upside. All right? If you look at the top right of your screen, you can see the ticker and you can see the time frame. And then once again, guys, I just wanted to point out this 4-hour. Again, a nice pullback. It's a strange pullback. It's very, I don't know really how I want to define this pullback, but it's just a very consistent, right? It's a very consistent. Look at these candles. It's just sort of systematic. It's profit taking likely. It's just sort of selling, no buying at all on these 4-hour candles. So where does that slow down? We'll have to see. 43.80 could be it. We'll watch that today. And then 44.04. All right. Let's go to the SPY. Let's go to the hourly. SPY hourly. So interesting, right? Interesting thing to note here. Is that the SPY is at the FOMC lows and the Tuesday lows, right? Which is a little different than what the ES futures are showing, right? Because if you go to the ES futures, you're still about, you're still about 15 points above that level. But if you go to the SPY, right, you're actually at that level today. So a little bit of a discrepancy there between ES and SPY this morning. The SPY is at this 433.60, 433, right there. And here is the FOMC low, and here is the Tuesday low. So you are sitting right at that double bottom from Tuesday, Wednesday of last week. Does this create any type of relief bounce? It's possible, right? We have to make sure we keep that in mind, right? If you shorted yesterday, if you shorted on Tuesday, yesterday, right, you caught the juicy move back into this demand. Now, right, you got to be a little bit more cautious entering shorts at this double bottom demand. If you break that level, like we've talked about for the last 20 minutes, then you can see that downside into maybe this 432 here, and then ultimately this 430 area is really that big pullback level. So if we sort of zoom out here and we go to the 4 hour on the SPY, there is nothing wrong, right? Even if this market continues to move lower, right? There is nothing wrong with the ES or the SPY being back at 430 in terms of market structure, right? Market structure would still be very much valid here at 430 for upside. This might be, once again, where the market needs to pull back to. That could be the retest that we need to get on this market. Same with the NASDAQ, right? We might need a pullback to that 14,860. We might need a pullback to that QQQ 357, and we might need that pullback to that triple top at 430, right? That could still be the move that the market wants before finding any type of real demand back to the upside, right? So keep that in mind. Today, you're watching FOMC lows around this 433.50, 433, right? That's our short-term watch right here. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see as of now, early morning, all right, you're getting a little bit of that relief bounce off that level. Nothing major, nothing important yet, but that is something, I'd be watching here. Do you break this little downtrend? Do you find any type of bounce off this demand today? That's your big watch today. 433, 433.50. Watch that zone. All right. Dow Jones. It was strong yesterday morning, and then it sort of reversed. Right. Dow was pretty strong yesterday morning, a little outperformance, and then it quickly reversed on itself. So you can see, where are we at on the Dow? Yeah, it's this 34,100 area. So you can see if I zoom out on the Dow, let me go 4 hour. So the Dow is still, right, potentially, I know it looks weak right now, but it's still in this zone. It's still in this, previous triple top here, previous high here, previous lows here, right? You're still sort of messing around in that zone on the Dow. I would say this gives up. I'm going to say this gives up around 34.1. I'm going to say that that's probably your psych level to watch on the Dow Jones. 34,100, right? That's sort of what I would watch there. So 34,001 on the Dow, that looks to be your last, that's your 4th and 1 level here. That's your previous highs, previous high, previous low, and then your 34,100 low here. I think that's what I would be. And you can sort of see, look at what the Dow's doing off that level this morning, right? Look at the Dow right at 34.1 here. So little double bottom at that level. That's going to be your 4th and 1. All right, watch that 34,100 today. Russell, 4-hour chart. Yeah, it's sort of sitting there still. It's sort of sitting at this level still. It's really trying to hold on to this level. So look at all these. Look at the last 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then this morning. it's really trying to hold on to this 18. I'm going to say it's like 1870 to be exact. 1870 here on the Russell. It 1, right? 2, 3. If it breaks 1870 today, right, that could be your give up move where it finally moves lower. If you continue to hold that 1870, then you need to continue to respect that it could find some wick bounces off that level. So 1870 on the Russell today. Keep an eye on that one. All right, that's the futures. Some important levels to watch today for sure, right? Can definitely be a nice day to out. You could definitely, if it is the short side play, right, it could be some really juicy stuff to the short side if we get under this 960 on the NQ. All right. Let's get into some individual stocks. Tesla 250. And we have jobless claims in 3 minutes, so we'll make sure to look at that as well. So Tesla 250 here. This is really the level to watch today on Tesla. If I go, let me get more time. So right here, right, 15-minute chart Tesla. This is 250, 248. You have this previous consolidation here. You have these previous highs here. You have these previous highs here. And on top of all that, right, 250 is a psych level. So this morning, you are sitting right at 250, right? You can see it right here. You're sitting right at that 250, a little bit of a bounce off 250 this morning. If you break under that 250, right, I think you could travel down into that 248. Let me zoom in here. 1 second. If you break that 250, you could travel down into these lows, which is 248. It's a little bit of a difficult area. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit of a difficult area here down into this 244 area on Tesla, right? You can see we've had a lot of consolidation in this area, right? Look at all this right here. All this between 250 and 244. It's a sort of it's consolidation in this zone, and I don't really know exactly how Tesla's going to react to that. So we're going to have to sort of watch, I think, at 250. I think 250 will give you the most insight. If you break under 250 today, that could be sort of that weak move to give you more downside. I would just watch this 248 as well. 248, 247, this whole zone here is sort of the zone that I would watch on Tesla today. If you break under that 250, though, that might trigger the downside move. But 250 definitely key this morning, and you guys can see it this morning already. 5-minute chart. Keep an eye on that 250 today. Let's go real quick to the SPY, see what jobless claims does here, if anything. So there's your SPY chart. Okay, a little bit of upside there. Let's see if I get any news here. Jobless claims. Where's it at? Waiting for jobless claims numbers here. How's everyone doing? Press the like button. Jobless claims 264 versus 260, and it's pretty much a non-event. As expected, jobless claims. We'll see if there's any movement off that. I doubt it. Maybe a little bit of something. But as of right now, the only real takeaway is still demand is still holding, right? Demand's still holding down there at 433.50, 433.50, 433, right? That area is still holding. That's the key takeaway for now. Okay, ES a little bit of upside there. NQ just broke 15,000, so that's interesting, right? You can see the NQ sort of popping that 15K level. So this double bottom at this 14,960 is still alive. All right, so that's your takeaway for now. All right, so Tesla, right, and you can see the little reaction here off 250, right? That's it. That's the level today. 250 Tesla. Keep an eye on that. Here's the only thing, right? you got to watch these previous lows, right? You can't get too greedy into 256. You can't get too greedy into like this 259, right? You got to respect that we could reject these previous rejection points, right? That's the key of trading, right? If you do long off 250 today, let's say you get a nice move off 250, you can't just hold it through every single previous rejection point. That's when you start to give back your profits, right? Profit target 1, maybe 256, previous rejections. Profit target 2, maybe 259, previous rejections, right? If you do get that 250 long, right, just watch out for these previous pivot points as we move lower, all right? So 250 demand, that's your big watch on Tesla today. NVIDIA. So I actually took a pretty nice long on NVIDIA yesterday. This is what sort of battled me back yesterday after my loss on the swing trades. I went long NVIDIA off this 420 area. Got a nice little push here. I think I sold into like this 428, 429. It ended up moving up about 100%. This trade that I had. So a nice little intraday trade. And why did I long NVIDIA? It was the same reason I longed AMD. It was the same reason I longed a lot of things, and it's just a demand hold. So AMD, Microsoft, they didn't work, but I know it works. I know that it does work. I know this strategy is a strategy that can be profitable. This demand hold on NVIDIA, very nice. I took the same long yesterday, and it was a very nice upside trade. When did I get in those? I got in those at 12:16. I longed NVIDIA June 23rd, 440 calls at 205. I think the high of these were around $4. So it was about 100% trade there. A little inverse head and shoulder here, intraday, off that 420 demand. Nice little breakout above that 428. And then just sort of took profits. And was my goal there was just to mitigate the loss that I took on the swing trade. So NVIDIA is still here, right? NVIDIA it's not gone anywhere. It's not broken down anything of importance, right? You can see NVIDIA is still holding, actually, above this wick, this extreme wick high, which is still interesting here on NVIDIA, right? 420, right? You guys can see right here. That thing is still holding there. So very interesting, right? You can see if I go to the 30-minute chart, it is not giving up that 420. I think the only way you could short NVIDIA here is a very aggressive break of 420, right? A very aggressive break of 420 and a very nasty rejection back at that level. But until that happens, right, this is still very much a channel low, right? And NVIDIA is holding above a 4-hour, which is pretty crazy. I would not expect this level to be support. This is just a little 4-hour wick, which is what's turning this into support. So that's pretty wild, but that is holding, right? 420 is still there. I would be very cautious shorting into that 420, right? Maybe you look to short back up at like the 438s, 440s. But yeah, back at this 420, this is where I longed off yesterday. And yeah, I would watch. Do I participate in 420? Not very often, no. Have I participated in the past? Sure. But am I a frequent 420 participant? Absolutely not. No, man. Those days are far behind me. Back in college, always a good time, but no, those days are behind me, man. So 4-hour chart, NVIDIA, watch that 420 today. That's really the level that I'd look, to play off of in any direction, right? The only place I want to be a trader of NVIDIA is near 420, either looking for that long or looking for that short. That's really what I'm interested in here, because I know this level will cause the biggest reactions, right? I know a big push off this will be nice. I know a big drop under it will be nice. I know 420 is a level I want to be playing near. So I will watch that today. All right, I will watch to see if this demand steps up again at that NVIDIA channel low. All right, so AMD, right? What did AMD do yesterday? AMD, I lost about $600 on this and Microsoft yesterday. Unfortunate. It's the same, right? If we look at this AMD chart, it is the same concept of that NVIDIA chart, right? It's the same exact thing. You guys can see now, the only difference is NVIDIA is a stronger stock right now, And that's really where I went wrong. It's the same concept, right? The reason I went long AMD is the same concept of this, right? And the same concept of this, right? They are the same concepts. It's the same type of channel low demand hold. And if we go to AMD, right, it just didn't hold, right? That's really how the cookie crumbled. This time, just didn't happen, right? Didn't hold the previous demand, which looked pretty nice for a potential dip buy opportunity for another demand bounce, which is everything else on the market's doing, besides AMD yesterday. So unfortunate, got stuck in this one, took my loss under 116. And why did it move down so aggressively, right? This is why it moved down so aggressive. There's your gap fill on AMD. Very nice, right? If you caught this trade, well done, well done. Hell of a trade, right? This was the better trade. After we broke 116, that was the trade, probably the trade of the day, right? If you caught 116, you probably took one of the best shorts of the day yesterday under that 116 into the gap fill. That was very sexy. So congrats on that. Your next level of support, never said go against the market. I don't. Going long here is not going against the market, my friend. The market has been straight up for the last 3 weeks. So you can see right here, 111, right? 111, right? Right there. That is your first level of potential support here on AMD. So right there, 111, big level, right? And you can see right there is where we sort of slowed down on this downside, right? We sort of slowed down on the downside at 111. So watch that, right? If you are still short AMD into today, just be careful, right? This is probably your meat of the move. Maybe you can trickle down a little bit more into that 111, 110, but this was really the meat. So if you caught the meat, don't get too greedy there. Just be careful of this 110, 111 area here on AMD today, all right? So keep an eye on that. But very nice. Congrats if you caught that downside. I took my loss there. Let's go ahead and go over Microsoft now. Microsoft, I'm sort of eyeing this bear flag on Microsoft into that 336. So you guys can see this was our previous demand that now I will signify as a rejection area, right? It's right here around that 336, 338. If we sort of push to the upside, right, into this level and bear flag, that is definitely something I want to be watching today, right? If you sort of push to the upside, start to reject this 336, 338 zone, and we get this bear flag, this could be a really juicy trade. I'm definitely going to be watching this one, looking to see if this previous triple top turns into a rejection again on Microsoft. That's really it, right? Just sort of watching this red zone, seeing and reading the price action as we trade into it, and seeing if that sort of flag breaks down. All right? What's the ES doing? Yeah, we're sort of stuck at that. Yeah, that's that exact 4404 level, right? That's your big level, 4404. That needs to break today for any kind of upside. All right. Meta. So Meta, nice outperformance yesterday. All right, you can see Meta is still sort of holding above that previous triple top. Really, it's like a lot of tops, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rejections at this 276 level. You can see we are still holding this uptrend, and we've created somewhat of a wedge here. So this is interesting, right? This could be a nice little move here. If we break to either side of this wedge, right, there could be a nice continuation move outside of this wedge on Meta. If you break this uptrend, maybe if you break like this 278 level today, I would say maybe like yesterday's lows, it's around 278.50. It's right in this general area. It's like 270, yeah, 278, I'd say. Give it 278. If you break that 278, if you break that wedge, the bottom side of this wedge, you might get a retest of that 275. Right? That might be where Meta needs to retest. Now, if Meta has strength, if the NASDAQ shows strength today, and you start to break the upside of this wedge, right? This is still, if I zoom out and sort of look at this on the 4-hour chart. Actually, let's go, let's go 4-hour, right? If you zoom out on the 4-hour chart, this is still a very interesting, break and retest hold. This is originally why I took this trade. You can see right here. And this was actually a nice trade, right? I took some nice profits on this one. I did give back some yesterday, but overall, net, this trade was profitable on Meta. Nice break and retest of that 276, 275 level, and it's still holding above. So it's not dead yet. I don't think Meta is dead here. Is it creating a little bit of a downtrend that could sort of consolidate and eventually break out? It still looks like that's possible. We've seen that many times on this market. So I'm not going to count that out. If Meta breaks under this triple top, then it's over, right? If Meta does this, if Meta comes back under this top here, then it's over, right? That's when you know the trade is over, right? And that's why I knew, right, Microsoft trade was over, and that's why I knew the AMD trade was over. So I know when I enter these trades, right, what is the level that if it breaks, my thesis is no longer valid? That's what I need to know. Right, so once Microsoft broke 336, I said thesis is gone. It no longer makes sense, right? Because Microsoft is now under a triple top. Same thing with Meta, right? If Meta is to break under 276, if it's going to trade back under these highs, then your thesis is no longer valid here. At that point, you're just hoping and praying that it gets back above, which very likely will not happen. So, keeping an eye on this Meta. It's definitely outperforming. Even in yesterday's downside, it's above the Tuesday lows. It didn't even break to new lows yesterday. So definitely a watch here. Going to keep an eye on this thing over the next few days, next few weeks. Netflix. So Netflix broke structure, right? And this is sort of that structure that we've been watching for a long time here. Netflix broke it. And this could be a really nice short today. So look at this right here on Netflix. If I turn this red. All right, look at this potential short here on Netflix. Let me zoom out. Let me get more time. If Netflix stays under this 426, 425 area, this is a really clean, right, hold below and a potential move right into that next demand of 415. This is definitely a watch for me today. I will be monitoring to see if Netflix stays under this 425, 426. If it does, right, I like that potential short into that 415 level. This looks like maybe a little head and shoulder formation, right? And if we stay below, right, just think about this logically. If you stay below 425, 426, previous highs here, then this could be a very nice short, right? So definitely watching. Looks very weak this morning. Definitely a watch today on Netflix. All right, I'm going to go real quick. Google, and okay, Google looks good as well. Look at this little Google bear flag that broke down. Right, here's Google. You guys can see right here. Bear flag, breaking it. Very aggressive yesterday. Under 122. If Google remains under 122, then I like this into 120 and 118. So look for that 122 retest. All right, that's what I really want. I want to see this, and then I want to see that downside. So 122 key level on Google. If it's under that, I think it stays weak. Bear flag, break. Stay under 122. I think you look at 120 and 118. Really, the ultimate downside that I want to see is to the 118. Right? That's really where I think it should be back to. To be quite honest, I think it should be back to 108. Right? This could be your retest back to 108. It never retested this level. So if we get continuation on market weakness, right, this could be a nice little short here on Google under 122. Last one I want to point out today is Apple. Apple, I just wanted to point out that it's under 184 because that's a big level here. Apple back under 184 is a big level. You can see previous highs, previous double top highs, previous lows, right? And we are back under. So if Apple remains under 184, you could use that as a proxy to the market of like the market staying weak, right? If Apple remains under 184, this market could sort of just slow down. Apple has been sort of leading the charge in some regard. And if this thing starts to die off, all right, it's definitely going to affect the NASDAQ. Just keep an eye on this 184. If it stays under this 184, all right, you probably trade back into this 182 here. That's probably your next test on Apple. But a big rejection point that we are trading back below. Keep an eye on 184 here on Apple. All right. All right, let's go to the futures one more time. Let's just do a quick review of where we're at. 15-minute chart. Yeah, it's going to be 15,000 here on the NASDAQ. That's going to be your big level, right? You can see very tough to get over 15,000. You need to reclaim yesterday's lows, right? If you want to look for upside, you need to reclaim yesterday's lows as support. That's 15,000 on the NQ. On the ES, that is exactly 4404, and that is exactly where we rejected this morning. You need to reclaim 4404 before you look long today. So yesterday's lows are the levels to watch, right? Keep an eye on those previous day lows, as always. Very clean rejection off that as we speak. All right? That's all I got. We had an hour of just free live streams every single morning, and we can only get less than half of people here to press the like button. Damn. Less than half, man. Can't even get half. Press the like button. Don't be lazy, right? Every single morning, 8 a.m., completely free. You get to sit on your couch. You get to eat your breakfast. You get to just sit here and watch. Raul. Why the market go down but not me? If you could press the like button, that would be absolutely fantastic. Just a little bit of a like, just one move of that finger. I appreciate that. If you could do that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys enjoy the live streams. Yeah. That's about it. I'm going to sign to my other channel. I'm not liked. I guess so, Brian. I guess so. People like more during bullish days. Yeah, it's probably pretty common, I'd say. We're talking about practice. TJ, it is a voice chat. It is not it says it when you sign up. It is voice chat only. There is no video stream in the Discord. The reason I do that, to make sure everyone understands, I want you to look at your own screen and listen to the commentary that I provide as the market trades. There's no merit in just staring at someone else's screen all day. You need to get used to looking at your own screen. You need to get used to moving through the charts yourself. You need to get used to doing things yourself, right? That is the ultimate goal. If you join the Discord, the goal is to leave the Discord. And that's wholeheartedly my advice. If you're, unless you just stay for the fun and you stay for the community, if you're coming strictly to learn, right, there's different reasons why you join a trading community. One is you just want to learn and you want to learn what I do and what other people do, and then you want to do it yourself and get out. Some people join, which I actually currently enjoy more than anything, is the community sense, right? I've talked to people in here and have met up with people in here that I would have never met. It's actually a fantastic time. It makes me happy. It makes me... it brings light to my day, right? I enjoy talking to the people that are there about things that other people are not interested in, right? It's hard to find people in the world that are interested in stocks, interested in real estate, interested in in improving themselves. So there's, that reason to join. But I wholeheartedly agree that if you're just coming to learn, you should join and you should leave, right? Whenever you're ready. And to do that, I think you need to focus on your own charts, your own strategy. Listen to me as I trade to potentially help yourself, right? Help along your journey. But I don't need people coming in here, staring at my screen, copying everything I do. It's not going to get you anywhere. All it's going to do is maybe make you a few nice trades, and you're going to end up just being, you're going to end up losing in the long term. It's not going to get you anywhere. All right. So that's why I do not video stream in the Discord. I do it as a market commentary. I do say when I take trades, right? I talk through the NASDAQ ES all day. What the NASDAQ and ES are doing. That should help you along your journey. All right. So thank you guys. If you are in the Discord, there is a meetup coming. It's October 8th, I believe. So just keep that in mind. I will be getting, formal things being pushed out. October 8th. Yes, that is the day. And it will be in Miami. But more real information to come. But a little bit of a hint as to when that's coming. So Thank you guys so much. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for 1,000 likes. That is very nice of you. Let's go make some money today. All right? Press that like button. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace.
Bye.